my scissors and my photo prints, sailing through the waves with my best friend, trading maps for pretty paper and some tape, making memories every single day.
Hey there, Janet Fritz here for Galaxy Girl Creations. Welcome to my channel. Welcome to Messy Monday combined with Mix It Up Monday. And the sketch that we're using for Mix It Up Monday is by Brandy Jo. This is the sketch. I am actually going to stretch it into a double pager, and I am using a little bit of Uncharted Mariner Distress Oxide ink as well as some Lost Shadow Distress Oxide ink. I know I showed that super fast. I apologize that it was so quick, but I'm doing a double pager, so I'm going to do this twice, and I am, as usual, not going to let any of that mixed media oxide ink go to waste. So I just did a face or a paper down on top of the stencil to pick up the same pattern from the top of all of the moisture that was on top of the stencil. So that is one technique that I love using with ink sprays, which is what we are focusing on for Messy Monday. Now I am taking more of that Uncharted Mariner, but this is the regular Uncharted Mariner, not the oxide, and I just sprayed it through a stencil to give an additional layer, and I'm not going to let any of that go to waste. I'm going to pick it up with a couple of 4.5 by 6.5 inch photo mats, and the stencils that I'm using, the 12 by 12 was from Sandy over at Stampin Reflections, and the other one was from Stamperia, and then this one I believe is from, I want to say Art Anthology, but I could be wrong on that. So I will try to remember to put the links down below for that if it is available. I am just spraying a little bit of Lost Shadow through this to add a little bit more texture. I love the look of it, and in fact the two 4x6s, I almost love the look of those more than anything else that I've done so far. So those will be sure to be used on another page. The one thing I wasn't too happy with was it's nothing wrong with the stencil, but because the stencil has to have something on the edge to hold it together, it leaves a white border around the outside. So I am just going to ink up using the coordinating ink pads, so a little bit of Lost Shadow and a little bit of Uncharted Mariner, and I'm going to ink those up so they're not quite as obvious as they are currently. I also don't want this to look like two separate pages. I kind of want it to look like one page, a double page layout, but I'm not going to have any of my clusters meet or any of my photos meet in the middle. They're going to actually be on two separate pages, and I am going to follow along with the sketch that is going on in the upper right hand corner for both pages. Only one cluster area is in the bottom right, just like the sketch, and then the opposing page will be in the upper left. And I am also going to apologize right now for getting this video up very late. It is still Monday, but I don't know what happened. I just blanked out and didn't get it voiced, and so I am putting it up after I get off work, and so it is late to the party for both Mix It Up Monday and Messy Monday. So my apologies for that, but at least you're getting to see it. I am using these ink blending brushes. These are from Amazon. I didn't want to do a large investment. There are a lot of the scrapbooking companies that make these, and they are a little bit more on the pricey side. I just decided to buy them on Amazon because I wasn't even sure if I was going to like them, and I didn't want to put out a big investment for something I was really unsure about and I hadn't ever used before. So I ended up liking these. They give you a lot of full coverage. I like that they're a big flat surface, but they're still a brush, and so that made me pretty happy. And I will try to remember to put a link for those down below as well. Again, not wasting my mixed media, even though it's just ink. I picked it up with a 4.5 by 6.5 inch photo mat. Those are just pre-packaged in a 100 pack from Hobby Lobby. And I feel like I just add that to my scrap bin of papers and I can use it later. I don't keep cardstock on hand, so it's a great way for me to make something that is similar to cardstock, even though I'm not getting full coverage. I'm okay with that, and I like the way that it looks, so that's just kind of how I roll. I did decide to back all of my photos with a black photo mat. I am also using some swaps from our cruise in February, and these swaps are from Lisa Cuneo from my scrapbook table is the one that is going to be on the left-hand page, and the one on the right-hand page is from Becky Ward, and they again are fabulous. Everyone just did such a beautiful job with all of the swaps. I cannot say thank you enough to each and every one of them for participating and providing such beautiful inspiration and pieces. So I didn't have to do a whole lot to create my clusters because of that. So my focus was really on the mixed media for this, but I'm going to go ahead and do a little bit more. I'm not going to just add a swap and be done. There is actually also a wax seal that I'm going to be using, and I apologize, I do not remember who gave us the wax seal. It was in with a couple other things, and they have been separated at this point, and I do not remember who it was from. So anyway, I went ahead and got my black cardstock to mat those photos, and then I realized I wanted a black landing spot for that set sail piece because I wanted it just to be in a block, even though I don't have a black border or mat for the larger tag on the left hand side. I definitely wanted one for the right hand side because it looked like it needed a little bit of a landing space. I think because the other one is larger, it didn't really feel like it needed the landing space. And I did add a film strip behind the one on the left-hand page. I don't know what color. I think that is from the Wherever collection, but I could be wrong on that. I don't know if it was from one of the colored, like 49 and Market has their ones where they, everything is peach or everything is ocean or whatever. I don't know if it was from one of those or from Wherever. I'm pretty sure it was Wherever though. Anyway, there was a little bit of extra twine on the tag that Lisa made. It was a little bit longer than what I normally put, which was absolutely great because I was able to go ahead and cut a little bit of that twine off, and I was able to move it over to the tag from Becky because the one from Becky didn't have a hole, nor did it have twine on it because the little piece that says set sail kind of covers that. But I went ahead and peeled that back and added my own little hole, so I was able to bring in that matching coordinating piece of twine from what Lisa had provided, and I did ink everything up with a little bit of black soot because I really like the definition it gives. So, and especially because I don't have any backer or anything on the one on the left hand side, I felt like I would just go ahead and ink both of them. Now I am bringing in some of the acetate leaves. These were also leaves that we used in our kits on the cruise for our class, but I have extras because, I bought extras, and they did not come in a multi-pack as you see in the bottom of the screen there. They came each in their own individual color, but for our class we combined them because for each set you got 2 of each kind of leaf, and what we did was we split them into 2 packs. So they would be split between each person because we were also combining the packs with the other colors. So instead of getting 2 of peach, you got 1 of peach, 1 of the blue, and 1 of the green. So you got essentially a larger variety, but not as many duplicates or no duplicates. So that's what we did for our class. And then I have an extra pack because I bought an extra pack from MK. And I really like the softness that it gives, and I thought the orange was a nice complement because blue and orange play well together. They are complementary colors on the color wheel, which means on the color wheel they're opposite each other, and they're always going to look good together. Although if you mix them in a wet format, you will always get an earth tone. So don't do that unless you want earth tones. I do have this die set. This is from Stampin' Up, and I don't remember the name of it. Let me see if I can grab it really quick. It is called Alphabet a la Mode Dies. I don't know what that means. Yeah, it just says Alphabet a la Mode. So those are from Stampin' Up, and I find that these really tall, skinny ones, if you are cutting foam, it's really hard to get the longer letters straight, like the vertical piece of the L and the I and all of that. And I have foam that is, it's got cardstock on it. So the foam I've peeled. Actually, this foam is double-sided. This is from Picket Fence Studio. When they had their sale just a little bit ago, I bought a big roll of foam, and it's a little thicker than what I normally use. But I thought, you know what, I'm just going to go with it. By the time I run it through the die cut machine, we'll see if it actually cuts all the way through, which it did. The Stampin' Up! Dies are perfect. They cut right through. And then I decided, since they went ahead and cut through, the foam is going to get squished a little bit in the die cut machine, so I was going to go ahead and just use it. And so I cut these to be about 3/4 of an inch wide and about, I think 1 3/4 inch tall, if I measure that right. And I am just using the grid on my glass mat. In case you're wondering how I know how tall they are and where to cut them, you'll see me marking them on my glass mat. So yeah, 1 3/4 inch tall. The dies are actually only like 1.5 inches tall, or just slightly over. And so that's giving me a nice little border all the way around. So I am going to use the squares that I'm cutting, or the rectangles that I'm cutting, rather than the actual letters, because those letters are really hard to get straight up and down, especially because I've got the foam on there and it wants to twist and turn. And I really like this look. I did it in my other album for the cruise the year before. And so I'm just repeating the process here. I am using a little bit of Nuvo Shimmer Spray. I think that's what it's called, Shimmer Spray. Oh no, Sparkle Spray. Sparkle Spray? Yeah, Sparkle Spray. And it is in the color called Tender Peach. I don't know if that's even available anymore. I've had it for ages in my stash. I'm just putting a line of it across the center of my little rectangles there to give it some interest and some sparkle. I am also going to use some as a splatter. It is an ink spray, but I find the ones that have so much of the shimmer in them, they don't spray great after a while. So there's the a la mode dies. Okay. So I'm going to let those dry. I did leave the letters inside while I was adding that spray, because I didn't want to end up having it down the center of my little rectangles and create a big old mess for me to clean up. So I just left the letters in, and then I'm going to peel them off and peel the backer and then go ahead and glue those down. They are adhesive because, again, the foam I'm using is adhesive on both sides. So my title is going to be At Sea Class Time. And if it seems a little awkward, I was going to do Class Time at Sea or In the Classroom, which, I mean, in the classroom would have worked. But because my photos were narrower on the left-hand side and wider on the right-hand side, I wanted the more wordy portion to be on the right-hand side because I felt like it supported it better and didn't look like anything was kind of like falling off. Whereas if I put this larger set of letters on the left-hand side, they would have extended past my cluster. And so that was just the decision that I made at the moment, although I probably could have reworded it a little bit so that I could figure out maybe something a little better, but I'm okay with it. At sea class time is perfect for what I wanted, and I'm good with it. Now, I know a lot of the mixed media doesn't look like it's showing, and I probably didn't need to spray the whole thing, but when you're doing sprays, sometimes you don't know exactly where your stuff is going to go, and you want it to look continuous, so I just went ahead and sprayed the whole thing. And it is what it is. Some of it's getting covered up, and I'm okay with that as well. I do like that you can still see the writing, which it also has a little bit of some math symbols on there, which I thought was perfect because it is class time, even though, we're not doing English and math, we're doing scrapbooking, but it kind of gives a nod to having that it is a lesson or a teaching moment, I will say. And that is pretty much it, you guys. I am just, like I said, doing a little bit of the peach mist here and there. And I am I'm sure to cover my photos because these are printed on my Epson PictureMate, and they don't take mixed media quite as well as as what I'm used to with my Canon selfie. So definitely cover your photos when you are spritzing or sprinkling over that. So while I give you the close-ups, I want to say thanks for watching, and don't forget to check out everyone playing along with Mix It Up Monday. They're using the same sketch. Also check out MK's channel in case you haven't already to see what she is doing with spray mists for Messy Monday. I hope you are enjoying this series, and come back and check it out next week. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.